Danny boy, the pipes are calling.
The only thing I ever envied about my father was his beautiful, rich, baritone voice. I'd listen to him sing whilst he was shaving at the kitchen sink and I was at my books. He always shaved on a Thursday night. To take his money with a clean face, he said. And he always sang Danny Boy.
But come ye back when summer's in the meadow, or when
the name was all we ever shared, thank God. To be told you'd take after your father was something I dreaded. For I had found out at too young an age that a father's love could be far from perfect. As a small boy, I remember curling up like a tiny hedgehog in my bed, whilst I listened to the terrifying sounds of my mother screaming in the next room. One such example of his alcohol-fueled violence. Mum left a note on the kitchen table. "It's just you and me now, son," he said. He was crying. I had never seen him cry before. But he didn't change. So I took the boat to England to join her. A few months later, and he turned up drunk and threatening at the house in Manchester. The police took him away, still shouting and calling out for me. I don't know why, but I felt sorry for him.
But if you come and all the flowers are dying, and I am dead as dead I will be.
I hadn't seen him for several years when my mother rang to tell me that he had collapsed in a pub, was in hospital, and not expected to live long. My first instinct was to be with him, and so I drove the length of the country. And as the miles flashed past on the deserted nighttime motorway, I knew that I was coming back to see a father who'd brought sunshine as well as shadow. You see, the mad thing is he hadn't always been drunk and aggressive and throwing his fists about the house. Sometimes he could be completely different, like another person, generous, funny, kind. He'd take the mick out of me and call me a Brit because I was born when we lived in England.
Must go, I must buy. But come ye back when summer's in the meadow.
Back then, he'd buy me a Matchbox toy car every Friday. Made me a pair of stilts from wood he brought home from the building site. He'd ignited a passion for football within me. Bought me a Manchester United kit and taken me to Old Trafford to see his idol Georgie Best in action. Yes, there were happy times to look back on.
Danny boy, I love you so.
By the time I'd arrived at the hospital, I'd concluded that there are so many ways to be in this life. And sometimes, because of past events, perhaps we can't be the person we want to be. In such cases, we hope people might be able to glimpse more in us than we show. I think this was true of my father. I think, or I hope, there was more to him than what he appeared to be. And that's why I had made this journey. I wanted love, compassion and understanding to triumph over hatred, anger and all those emotions which can be so damaging and destructive. My visit was redemptive. If not for him, then it was for me.
Kneel and say an Ave there for me. and I shall need.
And then, not long after he died, whilst I was standing alone in the hospital car park, watching the dawn disperse the nighttime darkness, a line of the song came into my head. It was, "Oh Danny, oh Danny boy, I love you so."
In peace until you come.
This was a Green Curtain theatre production, recorded in March 2021.